let me start formatting. You know, like let me explain this. This is actually what we call formatting. You know, we have a lot of formatting, both in HTML. You know, you have different kind of formatting. Formatting helps your job to look beautiful, to look good, to look nicer, to look more presentable. So, and there are a few elements to you can use to format your text. Now, HTML provides us utilities to format text without CSS. So, yeah, basically you can format your text without CSS. There are many formatting tag in HTML. Like we have text bold, italize, underline. Then there are about 14 options available for text formatting. So you're going to be looking at those options that are available. Now, this 14 option, we have B tag for bold, S strong to make the text look important. The strong and the bold is also similar tag. Then we have the italic text. We have the emphasize text, the mark text. We have the delete, the dead delete. We have the insert text. We have subscript and superscript. So I think in superscript this subscript and also superscript. So we are going to be looking at these few elements, how to make use of this element, how to add this element in our project. This project we are building now, how to add this element in our project. So to, this is to do that. So what we're going to be doing is let's start with mark element. Let's see what happened. Let's start with mark element. Let mark installation cover guide. This let's see what happened. So we come down here. Come down here. Okay, let's use mark here. To use mark, MAR. Then okay, I think okay, let me just see mark. This is the mark object here. Let me close it. Close the mark guide cover or let me just add the mark here. Closing tag. And let's see what we got. As you can see, this is a mark element. So this is actually what the mark element does to give it a bit background, like what we have here in Microsoft Word. So if you understand Microsoft Word, you understand text formatting. So to make our text look more nicer. So another one we also have here is italic and bold. So I'm going to make this bold and make it a bit italic. The Django. Let's see what happens. Here we have Django. The Then also comes the clothing tag. The, so this is not B arrow. B stand for bold. So this man is bold. I think we are going somewhere. Our text is looking more nice here. Are we together? Okay. Next thing also we are going to be doing is we can also add another tag here. Italic I stand for I. Hold on. Think in my what's happening. Let me okay, let's start comment. Let's start. So what we are actually doing earlier is to add the italic here. So I didn't close it. I have to close my italic. Then I can also add the okay good. Let's see what happened here. You can see this is a work of italic. Then another thing we're also going to be doing is to now someone was asking Okay, okay, okay. Sorry again, sorry. Let me discuss. Okay, somebody was asking, oh, what is it? Okay, let's continue. Okay, I've been able to close this. Then the italic element is in between this Django. So we look at this Django here. You see that we have this Django with italic element. So here is mark element, and somebody asks, can we use on alternative color? Yeah, we can use any color, but not with mark element. So to use a different color here, or a different background color, we, we we are going to be removing this mark element, and let's add an inline element called spam. So this is what we call spam. You can use spam to add any element so that it will not break. Now, there are some element you will add, the this particular line here will break to a new line. So inline element doesn't create a new line. So doesn't create a new line. What happen is that when you use those inline those spam element, we call them inline element, it will still stick in the same line. It will not break, it will not break, it will not generate a new line. It will be on the same line. So I'm giving inline element in between this element here, in between this inline element, in between this uh in between this right top here. So this can enable me have control on this text to give it any kind of size I want, any kind of text I want, any kind of color I want. So this is it. When you give it like inline element, it didn't reflect, it will not show anything. It just a spam element. So what we are going to be doing now is to add a kind of color. To add color, you use what we call style, then background color. Oh, why not giving me placeholder? You know, okay. Don't mind me. I'm a lazy typer. I don't like typing. Background. Okay. Let's give this as a background. So one, two, three. Well, it's not reflecting. Okay, let's see. It should reflect. So why is it not reflecting? This spam element. Huh? Okay. Let choose a different background. Let's see. Okay, it's reflecting now. So I was wondering why it's not reflecting again. So we can decide to give the color, change the color. Yes, yes, I know. It have been fixed. So let's do something here. Let's do. Can you guys hear me? Okay. We are adding a color here. Add color. We have uh-uh. So something's wrong here. Something's wrong here. Something's wrong here. Something's wrong here. Please, guys, let me log in and log back again. My picture is very slow. Let me just log out. Log. I don't know why this is very slow like this. Not sure. Okay, let's start recording. All right. Be able to have a span background here. So the background color and the background and the text color would only affect this element. It will only affect this element. We can view that here. Here, this is what we have here. We have the guide. So let's look at what we have next. Other elements. I think we work with italic, mark. We've done mark small, as the name implies. It make your font text look very smaller. Make it very look very very smaller. So let's work with super and superscript. So this is what we call superscript. Let me add the superscript here. Let me say okay. Okay, let me add superscript here. So press P. Subscript before superscript. Let me just add subscript. Let's see. Then also add superscript. You see the difference. Then let's add subscript, superscript here. Super, super. So superscript. I just copy the laptop. My screen. No, it's not pause now. It's not pause. Can you guys see my screen? Okay. Let's continue. So you can see this is a subscript and here is superscript. So the difference between superscript and subscript. So you can also see that in Microsoft Word. I think she has something like that here. Okay, this superscript, while this is subscript. So basically, everything we are doing here is almost similar with Microsoft Word pattern, but the difference here is that we are building. You can use this experiment to build a similar software. You just need to add button, this kind of button. When they click on it, the command will trigger, but you need a back end program to do that. So okay, okay, all right. I think um, um, let's just we are going to be closing is about the next 30 minutes time. But before then, let's talk about color. As a web designer or a front end developer, it's very very important to understand how to work with colors. A combination of colors is very very important. As a designer, you control more of the front end and the user interface of an application, and you should have this in mind whenever you are doing a project or maybe you are designing a project. Try as much as possible to work with the color. It's very very important. You must learn how to combine various colors together. um, when you are adding a background color. Any color you are using, I think color have a lot of meaning depending on what you are using it for. If you are doing a project about investment, and I believe every company had their own brand and color. So whenever you are building a project for a company, you first uh, know the color, the brand color of the company. Then you can be able to use this color, apply the same color when you are building the front end of the website. So when I look at it, you can see we have three types of basics, and those three five basics with three different kind of rainbow color around it. So color also comes with every color have color code. It's not necessary for you to cram or understand this color code. Uh, um, unlike before, when you need to cram and know this color code before you can implement them. But the case is totally different now because we have a lot of IDM that have easy the process. All you need to do is just type the name of the color and then select the color you want. So you can see here we have few color. We have orange, we have tomatoes, we have violet, we have Dutch blue, and different kind of color. Just a different kind of block like this. Then here we also have a background color. In this text here, we have a background color. Then we also have a text. Then a background color and a text. So this is a very simple it's a very simple design. You just need to when you look at this color, you can see the text very well. The text with the background blue and the color white. You can see it. So when you are making use of your color, adding a color in your text, make sure you need to consider one thing: the background color and the text color. You cannot use a background color of red, then you will now use black as the text color. It look off point, and their user will find it very difficult to read. Now when you look at this text here, you can read everything here. You can read everything here clearly well. So when you are making use of your color, have this in mind. Have this in mind that your background color and your text color should be unique to enable your end user to read and understand your text or article. Now moving ahead, they just build a similar project like this. All you need to do is just add add to create a div. Now let's go to div. What is div? Now div is actually a container. Okay, let me get something here. Let me get something. Let me use board so that we can understand what I'm trying to explain. Can I get that? Let me get whiteboard. Let me explain about div and container. Stop right there. I'm trying to get to whiteboard. Let me put it. Okay, here is our whiteboard. Let me, let me explain the div, what div is all about. So we can need to learn. My network is very slow this night. Okay, now here we are having let's say two boxes. The word box. Okay. Now, if you notice here, we have two boxes. Now, this is what we call div. We call it containers. Now, containers there are elements that houses or contain another element inside. So it's just like it's an element, a container that group various section of your website. Now, if you want to create a section for header, maybe getting putting various various elements in one container, in one section. You need a div. Now a div, they call them a block element. Now block element means it's actually element that automatically creates a new line whenever you add those elements in your HTML. So whenever you type those elements, it automatically create a new line, a division between these two elements. Unlike when you're adding image does not create a new line. Like paragraph also create a new line. Now this div element also have other element inside, different kind of element. It can be image, it can be video. So it's a container. You can decide to use it, then add a particular background inside, or you can decide to use it, move it to the left or move it to the right. They are similar with your normal HTML element, but the difference is that they don't have any effect. When you use them, they don't have any effect until you apply a CSS border and the CSS properties and values on it. Now, what the main function is to group your element together, to group various elements, bring them together. You can have an image inside this element, the image tag. Then you can also have other kind of elements, H1, H2, paragraph. Then when you have those elements, you can then give him a different kind of styling. Like what, as you notice, as we add background in our body, it reflect to all area in the body. But if you are having a div, we can decide to control, to group that element, and also add that give it a particular background if you are using div. So the div helps us to be able to divide the section of our application. You can use div to divide this section. You can use it to divide this section. Remember that our previous class we talked about the header and the footer. So you can use div to divide your website to different section, and this different section can have image, can have a tag, can have any kind of element you want. It can move this div to any left or right, to any side you want. So basically, specifically what div does is that it groups and also divide the section of your website. So that is what div element can do. We're going to be using that and see the functionality of a div element. So we are almost done. Let me introduce this div element, then I will give assignment. Let me just do this element. Let me just do this element, then we can just call it a day. So let me get a div element, as the name implies, it's a division element. It's a division element, so it automatically create a new line on your website. So uh, I I think this code is actually is becoming rowdy. Let me create a new file here. Let me just create a new file. I can say div anything. Let's see, about us, about us dot html. So having this, let me let me copy something. So just copy few elements. Uh, get some get some. Yes, me water, please. Water. Trying to copy few. Okay, okay. Let me copy this. Let me just copy this. All right, good. They have our. Okay, let me change. Let me change my compiler to HTML. Okay, this enter, guys. Purpose, right? Okay, let me have div. I'm going to have two div here. Div. enter. So this diff element just unlike it's almost similar thing with almost similar thing with our, are we still recording? Okay. Okay, we can decide, okay, in this element let have p yes, let have p1. Are we there? Then I'm only using this welcome the Skyline ICT Limited which I was said. I'm only using this at the head, welcome the Skyline ICT. Okay. We're having about us of HTML. So let me go and call it there. Here we have image.html. What's happening? Okay, let me show it again. Guys, I almost done. No. Not that most of you are tired. Give me too, I'm tired. Okay, let's continue. Here we have image.html. Then I think we created about underscore us dot html. Okay, yeah, we have welcome. Welcome. Um, Inside here also we can decide to add another element. We can decide to add an element, but let me get another div also. Div. Yes, div. Then, let's see what happens. Okay, we just need to break. We need to break this. I'll be breaking. Break. Then let's also break here. Break. So let's also break here. Excuse me. Arrow. Are we together? Don't sleep, oh. Okay, okay. All right, yeah, we're getting there. So let's move this to center. So we are also should, sorry, we should have at least maybe h3 here, h3. Then we'll close it here. Okay. All right. Let's let give background color. I think in div you can add a style. So it's just like a normal div background color. What background we're using? Let's look at the background. Was the background was blue, abi? Blue background. So bar blue black. Okay. I get so This is our color here. Hmm? Then color, color, sorry guys. Color, this color. Okay, we have this color here. So we are moving this man to center, right? Moving this man to center. You can try to do it here. I will still do it here. It will still work. You can try to do it in this edge. I will still do it here. It will still work. Test center. This is it. Let's look at what we have here. Look at this is what we have here. Front. We also work with the front size. We will work with the front size. The front size is okay. And if you see here, we let give it a background. Sorry, a weight, height rather. We are going to give it div height. So to do that, height, uh, let's say 50 pixel. Okay, this is what we have here. Okay, good and fine. So this, we're also going to be giving this background. Are we together? Now remember, you cannot see div, the effect of div, until you give it border or background. Now I'm only going to be giving this man border. I can still give it background. I'm going to be giving it border. When I give it border, you will see the effect of the div. So the div can only, you can only notice div when you are giving it a border. Now let me bring a border. We all know what is border. We know what is border, so I don't need to explain what is border. Here we come to this div. We have a style. Now border have border left, border right, border top, um, border bottom, to top to bottom, left and right. So let me do more of illustration. You can see border have what we call border. This is what we call border. Having a line around this div is what we call what border. So we have border top, we have border bottom, we have border left, we have border right. So let's add our border. Now border also has border type. You have different kind of border type. There are some border that have a dash border, that have dot like this. So they are called them dashed. We have solid. These are what we call solid border. The most popular border is solid border. So let's give it border round, not border top or border right. Border round, and every border must come with a color. So every border must come with a color. Are we together? If you are together, say we are together. No sleeping, no. Border. Mm. Now border. Let's say border dash or border solid. You know what solid is all about. See why I know you like this thing. People should be giving me placeholder. Come on, man. Okay. Border. Let's say pixel, the line of the border. Let's say 20. I also need to give it color. The color of the border. Let me say green. Then the solid, border solid. Uh-huh. So let's see what happens. And this is the border now. I saying we have a border. We have a border here. Let me reduce the border a bit. Let me reduce the border a bit. Okay. Border pixel, 4 pixel. Are we recording? Are we recording at all? Okay, we're recording. All right. Look at the border. I'm recording. I'm recording. Look at the border here. Now, if you notice, uh, these two div are together, no space, right? Um, this div is together, right? And also, if you notice, our right up, Skyline ICD Console Limited is also together with the line of that, the line of the container. So how are we going to resolve the issue? If you also look at this, we also have Skyline ITC. This we are proud ICT company. This write up, this content here is stick together on the left of the border. So what are we going to be doing now to give space? Now, if you give space, now it will not work. So what are we going to be doing? Now we now have what we call margin and padding. Are we together? Margin and padding. So margin is to add space outside the border, while padding is to add space inside what? The border. Now let me give this man background so that I will tell you what I mean by padding. Very, very important. I will explain that, but let me give this man background. Let me give it. Let me give this background of orange. Orange background. Okay, background. I like orange. Orange is my favorite color, so don't mind me. Then the color should be white also. Color white, not white actually, but notwithstanding. So if you look at what we have here, we have two different background, two different div. But the problem now, the div are together. Now when you look at our design here, that you can see there's a space in between this right up. Are we together? Please let's follow up so that we can learn. Are we together? So there's a space in between this line here. You can see a space. How are we going to achieve this? And there's also a space in between this particular line. Then we have border and margin. Let me explain what border and margin is so that we can understand. Let me erase all these things. So let me create. Is there a way I can create a new document than to use? Okay, good and fine. All right. Let's say we have two boxes here. This is the first box, and inside this box we have the box that contain our write up. Then now we also have another box. I'm explaining. Let me start with the margin. Now, the margin is the space in between these two elements outside the border. Are we together? Are we together? You guys, you respond now so that I know that you guys are together. So the margin top is the space in between outside the border, outside this border, a space, giving a space outside this border. Now we also have a right top inside here. Let's say right up. Now this is what we call margin. Space in between this man and this man outside the border. Margin top. Margin left is a space in between this border and this border. This is what we call the margin left. Margin right is also a space in between this border and this border. So when you give him margin top, you have spaces in between this man and this man. When you give him margin left, he has spaces in between this man and this man. You now comes in padding. Padding is inside the content. The space in between this man and this man is what we call, this is write up, is what we call the padding. A space inside the container, giving a space inside. Let me go back so you guys can understand more. A space inside this write up here, the space between this write up and this container is what we call padding. Are we there? Are we together? That's what we call padding. Now, in the space in between this and this, between these spaces in between this and this, inside the background is what we call padding. While the one we have outside in between this container, this blue container and orange container is what we call margin. Are we together? Are we together? I want one person to volunteer to explain the difference between margin and padding. Let me see if you understand. One person should volunteer and explain the difference between padding and margin. Sorry, padding and margin. Please, I want somebody to volunteer, please. Please, can't hear you. Can you be audible, please? They can hear you. Use this right off, for example. This use what is displaying on screen, for example. Mm, mm, mm. Okay. Good. 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 That is fantastic. That is fantastic. Is there anybody that don't understand uh, the difference between margin and padding? Anybody who don't understand? I think our video is ready. I will drop the link now. The first video. So anybody don't understand about margin and padding? Um, if you understand, say I understand. I understand, so that I can move forward, please. Okay, let's practicalize that now. Let's practicalize that. Let's practicalize that. Let's practicalize that now. Okay. Let's say okay, we want to add margin first. Margin top. Are we together? Margin top. So to add margin top, what we need to do, we come to this particular div, this div, all right? This is the first div, right? This is the first div. So we are going to add margin top. Margin top to bottom. 20 pixels or 100 pixels. That's what happen. No, you're supposed to add it on this one. The last one. You people are not even helping me. I'm doing mistake here. Let's add it on this, the last object. So adding padding on this one. Okay, I have to come down. Okay. Let's add padding. Margin up 20 pixel. See what happen. So you can see now we have margin top, right? We have margin top. We have margin top. Now we can also decide to have margin left and margin right. You can have margin top. Now if you want to add margin all round, like you want to add margin, all round margin, top, left, right, center, bottom, blah blue. So what you need to do is just you need to come here and remove this margin, not 20, margin 20. It will now wrap all round. Are you seeing it here? Now have all round margin. Are we together? Now see all round margin. We have margin left 20, margin top 20, margin bottom 20, margin right 20. Are we together? Are we together? So that is margin. Now let's go to padding. Let's go to padding. Padding, as you say this, padding is in between the space in between this man. Let's add padding left, or let's just add padding all round. Padding all round. So you can say padding. You can say padding 20 pixel. So it's all round padding. Left, right, bottom. I can see now we are padding top, we are padding bottom, we are padding left, we are padding right. Are we communicating? Are we communicating? So I can decide not to add, I can decide not to use padding all round, just come here, dash, padding left. Eh? Then let's see what happen. And see, we only have uh, uh, what's happening now?